Is money keeping you from chasing your dream of teaching English abroad? Are you curious how teachers can live and travel abroad without going broke? In today's video, I'll share what you need to know about teach abroad finances, from paying your taxes to supplementing your income, salaries and expenses to exchanging money. If you're ready to learn about teach abroad finances, then let's get started. I'm Jamie from ESL Teacher 365. I'm a certified teacher and teach abroad coach. I've lived in 6 different countries and I love helping people do the same. If you need some help getting your teach abroad adventure started, then make sure to fill out my survey, which is linked down below. Before we get started, just a little disclaimer. I am not a financial advisor or a tax agent. I'm only speaking from my experience as someone who has lived abroad for over 10 years. So just keep that in mind. What you need to know about teach abroad finances, salaries. So how much do teachers abroad actually make? Well, it depends on the country and the program or the school. According to GoOverseas.com, the highest paid salaries for English teachers are from the United Arab Emirates, Japan, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, and Oman. But you must keep in mind that to get the highest paid salary, you're going to need at least a bachelor's degree, a TEFL certificate, and likely some previous teaching experience. It's also important to consider how many hours per week you're going to be working. Asian countries often have longer teaching schedules than European schools. However, that means you're going to be paid a lot more to teach in Asia than you are to teach in Europe. If you're a certified teacher, I highly recommend checking out international schools. You can look at agencies like ISS or Search Associates. An important tip for teachers trying to save money while abroad is to compare the cost of living in their new country with their salary. I'll teach you how to do this later on in the video. In my experience, my highest paid salary was teaching in Australia, and teaching at an international school in Spain comes in second place. To learn about all the different ways that you can teach English abroad, make sure to download my free Teach Abroad Quick Start Guide, which is linked down below. What you need to know about teach abroad finances, expenses. Moving your whole life abroad is going to come with some expenses. Here are some things to consider. Storage for anything you don't want to bring abroad. You can either buy a storage unit or keep things with family and friends. It's usually not a good idea to bring all your possessions abroad with you unless you plan on being there for many years. Flights. Some teaching programs and schools will pay for your flights or reimburse you. However, not all programs or schools do this, so save some money for your flight to and from the country. Costs related to housing. Again, some schools or programs provide their teachers with housing. If this isn't part of your contract, then set aside some money for a security deposit and the first month or so of rent. Money for settling in. Put aside some money in case your housing abroad isn't furnished. Likewise, it's often cheaper to buy new clothing, appliances, electronics, etc. in your new country than bringing everything with you. I like to buy anything that uses a plug in my new country so I don't have any issues converting electricity. How can you determine how much money you'll need before you go abroad? First of all, check your contract and see what's included and what isn't. Then go to numbeo.com and check for the cost of living in the city where you'll be working. Try to save at least 2 to 3 months worth of rent and expenses before you go to make the transition easier. As I mentioned before, if you want to save money, make sure that your salary is greater than the cost of living in your new country. Every time I move to another country, I end up selling the majority of my possessions and then leaving the rest with friends and family. I currently have possessions on 4 different continents, and I don't even really remember what's there. So it just goes to show that the more you live abroad, the easier you'll find it to live with less. What you need to know about teach abroad finances, paying taxes. So just to remind you, I'm not a tax accountant, but I can share my personal experience paying tax while abroad. Did you know that the US is one of only 2 countries in the world that taxes their citizens while they're abroad? If you're living in a foreign country for long enough to be considered a tax resident, then you're going to be paying your taxes in that country. If you're lucky enough to be an American, then you're also going to have to file your taxes with the IRS if you are a citizen or green card holder. For example, for the past 5 years, I've been living in Australia and paying tax to Australia, but also filing my taxes with the IRS each year. I do get to claim some deductions because there's a tax treaty between Australia and the US, so make sure to contact your tax agent to find out if you get any deductions. Lastly, some teach abroad programs aren't going to pay you a salary. They're actually going to pay you a stipend, and a lot of times the stipend isn't taxable, so you'll need to check with your program. Because all of the tax periods are different in different countries, one year I ended up paying taxes in Spain, the US, and Australia. So if you only have to file taxes once per year, count yourself lucky. What you need to know about Teach Abroad finances: supplementing your income. If you want to travel as much as possible while teaching English abroad, then I highly recommend supplementing your income. Here are 2 ways that you can use your skills as an English teacher to create a side hustle. Number 1, teach English online. Teaching English online is a great way to earn some extra cash during after-school hours, weekends, days off, or holidays. I'll leave a link to my blog posts below on teaching English online while teaching abroad to check out for more information. I currently make around $60 an hour teaching online without school while living abroad in Australia. Number 2, work as a private tutor. Chances are there are people in your new country who are looking for private English lessons. I taught both children and adults when living in Spain, and I went to my students' houses and taught everything from speaking lessons to business English to test prep. What you need to know about Teach Abroad finances: exchanging money. 9 times out of 10, you're going to be paid in a different currency than your home currency. So if you use banks or PayPal to convert this money, you're going to end up losing a lot of money in high exchange rates and fees. That's why I recommend using Transferwise, which is now just known as Wise. They have some of the best exchange rates and the lowest fees available. First, I always set up a local bank account in my new country, and then I use Transferwise to send money that I'm paid in that local bank account to my bank account back home. This is especially important if you're still paying your student loans or you have different payments that you need to make back home. To set up your own Transferwise account, you can use my link in the description box down below. I hope this video helps you sort out your Teach Abroad finances. If you have any other questions about Teach Abroad finances, then just leave me a comment down below. Make sure to subscribe for more Teach Abroad videos and give this video a like if you learned something new today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Happy teaching, and remember, the world is yours to teach and explore.